Diagnosing is one of the first things that experts do. Doctors, lawyers, engineers all have, in those professions, a way to diagnose first. Very, very often time they do it because they have to. They are regulated professions. And it turns out that in business, I believe we should do the same. And we are less regulated. Sometimes we have certifications, but we are way more free to create the process that we want to do our work. We don't have to diagnose first. And I believe that this is a problem. I believe that many of us jump into the work without challenging or checking or just verifying what our clients tell us they want to do. And therefore we become the servant, we become the vendor, we become their right or left hand, they're the extension of their hand, and we are not in a position to deliver our expertise. So it's critical to diagnose first. And because I walk my talk, I have built a diagnostic phase. It's a paid diagnostic phase. I also have a free one. You can find it on my website, but I have developed a diagnostic phase that I now called the deep dive and roadmap phase. And it's a 4 to 6 week engagements that I take some of my clients through, in which we do a series of activities. We have a series of exercises. And I want to share some reflections with you, because that diagnostic phase has evolved over time. Initially, I had a little bit of a hard time selling it. I started selling it in that, not with that name. That name is more recent. It has changed over time. But what's in it, in that kind of, aggregate form, similar aggregate form, probably 4 to 5 years ago. Initially, it was hard to sell because I just didn't know exactly how to present it. I was the first time, so I didn't realize the value it would have. And then once I got my first sale, it was instantly easier. It was like a snowball. I learned from it, and I was able to more easily sell the second one, third one, fourth one, and so on. And now I've delivered, many of them. And one of the key things that I want to share with you, number one reflection, is that most clients, at least for business, in the business context, really they'll value your insights, they'll value your perspective, but they won't like to pay just for you to know more. They want some valuable direction out of it. But it's even better if you use the diagnostic phase to create a product, something of value that they can use immediately. I'll give you an example. In my deep dive and roadmap, I request to interview 3 to 5 key clients of my clients. And I spend about 30 minutes. I have a series of questions that I want to ask them. I record the call with their permission. And this really helped me understand how my clients see their business from the outside, right? It's an outside the jar exploration, if you will. Some people will also call it the voice of the customer. And over time, what I noticed is that I could actually add even more value to this exercise, and therefore more easily sell my diagnostic phase if I took the content that I got out of this interview and turned it into sometimes a testimonial. If the interview and the feedback that these clients about my clients are giving is positive, I would just turn this into a testimonial with their permission as well. It's not a lot more work, but the value it creates for my client is significant. Having a good client testimonial on your website matters a lot, and you know how sometimes hard these testimonials can be. So that's an example of how I was able to overcome the difficulty, which is that my clients didn't see the value beyond just me knowing more in the diagnostic phase. So I hope this encourages you to put a diagnostic together and to really make it not just something that you use for your own sake to be a better expert, a better consultant or coach or designer, but something that really also add value to your clients. Highlighting some key insights, some key inputs, steering them in the right direction. It's going to be a lot more appealing to them. It's going to be a lot more compelling, appealing, interesting to them. They're also going to notice, and that's the second observation, is that why do we do these diagnostic phases? To get rid of the blind spots, to really understand what's behind what we hear from our clients. So it's you can also call it an insurance policy on both sides. You want to make sure that you work with the right client, that there is the right fit, but you also, and it is your duty to put in front of them a system that helps them to decide if you are the right fit for them. So it's mutual, right? It's a mutual insurance policy. It should be an investment that feels small enough that it's not a burden, and yet it's something that has a lot of value usually, so something they still pay for. And so in that context, what you want to do is really make sure that they are sampling your work. So this piece is a sample of your work, and it's still, some way, a way to sell them on maybe longer engagement, higher price, higher ticket engagement, higher ticket services, more engaging, more demanding engagements that are coming next, because then you're going to fix their situation. So think about it really as a sample of your work. So from the get-go, and that's something I also learned, is that initially I would run these engagements slightly different than my actual series of coaching sessions or advisory services. And at some point I realized that all I had to do was just run that engagement, that first engagement, just like I would do my other work, So nothing changed really. So the way I frame it now is that, you're going to get a series of work sessions. I call them work sessions, so that, my clients really see what is it that I can deliver to them, what value do they perceive. And out of this, what I really get is some feedback about the way they describe the value. So what I always do at the end of an engagement like that is, of course, make sure that they have a clear understanding of what they are, show the roadmap that we co-created together. That's another thing. I don't wait until the end of this engagement to just do a big reveal, but I actually build the roadmap with them, step by step. Of course, I put in front of them a proposal for the follow-on work, and what I do also is that I do a project evaluation from their standpoint. I ask them for their feedback. What was the problem they had before coming to me? What have we done to solve it already? We haven't fixed it yet, but we have possibly, out of this diagnostic phase, a strategy, a better understanding, a mind clarifying set of information that give us, better data to take better decisions. So I asked them the before and after, and I asked them for their feedback, and then I share that with, if they're okay, if they want to give me a testimonial, I share it with other folks. So I hope this helps you, and I hope these are concrete steps and tips for you to create a good, solid diagnostic phase that you should have. Diagnostic, call it an assessment, an audit, a diagnostic, a check. I call it a deep dive and roadmap, because that works with MetaHelm and my brand. But you can call it the way you want. So I hope this is helpful, and I look forward to seeing your examples of the diagnostic phase. Thank you.